Hardcore Lies.
Guys, Rob from Georgia here with you. I'm your Wednesday evening host here at BodyBags. It is week 401. We have officially crossed the threshold of being at this for 400 weeks. Well, maybe not I per se, but a whole slew of people who from the beginning got this channel off the ground, and 7 years later we're still at it, and now we've officially crossed over the threshold. It is the first week post 400, and I bring you some Lucio Fulci goodness from 1983. Maybe his first real film post that epic peak place that he stood in the midst of his Gates of Hell trilogy. This is Conquest from 1983. Some of you may not even be aware of this movie, but it is a Lucio Fulci movie. It is unlike previous movies up to this point, this is a Mexico/Italian Spanish production. So we got some Mexican stars in here, and really, Fulci is somewhat divorced from that slew of regulars, Sacchetti and company, all those people, De Rossi and special effects, and just, all those people who were there, Frizzy, for the ride. That was an incredible ride. The only one left over, I think, two people, Tomasi editing the film again, his longtime editor, and then his set decorator who did work with him on Manhattan Baby, New York Ripper, even the House by the Cemetery. So I mean, he's got a couple, but the surprise here is Claudio Simonetti, Goblin fame, who does the score for this, and it's. I haven't heard everything Claudio has done, but it definitely, from what I have heard, it is not his best score. It's alright, it's good. I would say there's like, well, first of all, it's a fantasy. It's a sort of fantasy epic kind of film, which I would imagine. I'm trying to think what movie really just kicked it off. The title is right there, but there was a film that came out, I think it was a French director, and it sort of just kicked off this wave of sword fantasy type movies, and so Lucio Fulci went ahead and took a stab at it, and it's not a bad movie. It's definitely not one of his more polished films, or some of the films that I have grown to love in this very short period of time. The Psychic, even For the Apocalypse, his Gates of Hell trilogy. This is very. It's hard to say. I mean, basically, what you have here is you have this Ilias character who is. You think he's sort of an offspring of the gods initially, and he's about to go off into the world. I'm not really sure exactly what his purpose is. I think by the end of the film, you know what his purpose was, but it's not what you think it is in the beginning of the film. There's this other character who he runs into, Mace, who's like this sort of Conan the Barbarian type figure who really doesn't have much respect for humanity. He cares more for animals, I guess. And so the two will join friendship. Well, there's this witch, Ocron, who is basically, she's just trying to take over as much territory as she can, and just take what she can from the people, and just kind of be an oppressor type character, this witch. And so it doesn't take long before Ilias and Mace have a run-in. She actually has like a dream, a vision of sorts, where she can't see his face, but she senses there's someone who has purposed themselves against her, and of course this is Ilias and Mace as his companion. And so she immediately sends her horde, her minions, out to go hunt him down, and it doesn't take long before paths cross, and then you have a whole slew, some events where Ilias gets captured, gets free, Mace frees him, the coin flips, and Ilias sort of has had enough. He takes off. Mace then falls under attack, and Ilias bails him out, and then eventually it gets towards the end, where the way the characters begin is not what you think how they'll end. And that to me was kind of That was interesting. I really kind of got a kick out of where the characters ultimately end in the end. Some of the effects are cheesy. Animation is a bit cheesy. There is, though, one particular set piece where it almost harkens back to City of the Living Dead, dare I say, where you got these zombies coming up out of this lake and they're attacking Mace. And the score, Claudio's score, really, really almost has an eerily City of the Living Dead vibe. It's really weird, but it is maybe the best set piece of the entire film. I really dug it, and actually, it's followed up by another set piece where Mace is attacked. I think he's attacked again by some cave dwellers. It's just crazy. But it's a fun movie, man. It's a fun movie. I'm just, I'm at the point now where I'm just starting to really explore Fulci's filmography really outside of his giallos of the 70s, his Gates of Hell films, of course, and then his Cat in the Brain later on by 90. And it's going to be kind of hit and miss from 83 forward. Of course, Fulci's past goes so far back into just the comedies, the Italian comedies, some Eurocrime, and then of course the giallos, Don't Torture a Duckling, The Psychic, maybe, man, that might be my favorite. I really dig that, The Black Cat. And so I'm just sort of feeling my way through the rest of his filmography. And I got a lot of films I have to pick up still, but I recently picked up Conquest on Blue Underground, and I also picked up 4 of the Apocalypse as well from Blue Underground. So my Blue Underground library is growing a little bit. But I never really, I don't know, I think as a kid, I think the movie I remember the most being sort of a sword fantasy type film is The Beastmaster, Don Coscarelli's film. But outside of that, Conan the Barbarian when I was a kid, actually I had more fun reading those books than I did actually the movie that they made out of it. I've never really been that big of a fan of sword and fantasy, but being that this was Fulci, I kind of dug it. If I had to rate all of his films, of course, from my most favorite all the way down to, yeah, I was all right. This is going to be, it's going down a little bit. I got too many movies ahead that I absolutely just freaking love and adore. But there's something awry, I think, between him and those who, the producers, the Mexican crew, his actors. It just seems like there's a bit of a disconnect with the other films I'm familiar with, that things just didn't go his way on this production. But in the end, it is still Lucio Fulci, and I love Zombie 3. I know he wasn't there for the whole ride of that film, but DeAngelis, I really wish DeAngelis would have. I kind of wish after Zombie, DeAngelis would have just had the foresight to follow it up immediately with a sequel. If Fulci would have been on board to follow up Zombie immediately and not wait so freaking long down the road. Now, this may have created a stumbling block to the other great films that he would do, the Gates of Hell trilogy, and I hate the thought of not having those. But to see Zombie 3 come so far down, but Conquest, starts to fall in that later filmography of his that it just starts to, you see the decline, and it's not all his fault. His health will start to play a part here, but it is fun. If you're a fan of Lucio Fulci, you've never seen Conquest, I found this really cheap on Blue Underground. It had been $10-12, I think. I don't think it was that much. It's definitely, if you're a Fulci fan, it's worth a pick up. If there's any other way you can check it out first. But Claudio Simonetti, man, on the score is pretty good. And having Tomasi back to do the editing is nice as well. Again, 1983 film, week 401. And real quick, I just wanted to say too, before I let you guys go, not too long ago in our groups, there was this incredibly massive run on the Dollar Tree. And it seems like maybe there might be a run coming again. I just went there recently, well, just yesterday, and I picked up Boar, I picked up Trick, and VHS on Blu-ray, $3. You can't beat that. So don't shy away from those Dollar Trees. You never know when you go in there what you may or may not pick up on any given day. But today's focus has been some on Italian freaking goodness. And Fulci, I freaking love this guy, man. And I'm just gonna keep at it with his filmography and just, you know, soak it all up, man. Start going backwards, go more forwards, and that's what I need in my collection is the New York Ripper. I really need to get that in my collection, and I know there's a new 4K of that. But anyway, so on Wednesday, it is Rob from Georgia coming at you with some Fulci from '83, and I'll leave it there. We always end these things off with, oh, don't worry, this whole mess is coming together soon. So we always end these things off with Go Bills.
This is not a dream. Not a dream.